So you're up on stage, you've got your instrument, and it's finally time to perform and play in front of other people and share this music that you've been working on for however many months. And you start to play and you make a mistake. And then you make another mistake. And before you know it, it feels like you're holding on for dear life just to get through one song. Call it nervousness, call it performance anxiety. It has many names, but this demon that affects so many musicians can ruin your confidence and ruin your performances and make you sound bad. Why does it happen? Is it the stage's fault? Is it the fault of the people you're playing in front of? Are you at fault? Are you self-sabotaging in some way? That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about nervousness and performance anxiety and how to get over it so you can sound your best when you need to sound your best, when you're actually playing in front of other people. First, we have to talk about nervousness, and we can start by reframing it as excitement and evidence that you actually care about the performance, which is a good thing. Would you want to go see your favorite artist knowing that they don't care about the show? No, it's good to care. But when nervousness affects your playing in a negative way, when it's making you make mistakes or just sound bad, that's not a good thing. Let's start with some strategies and techniques that you don't have to practice. Strategies and techniques that you can implement at your next gig or performance, even if it's like a jam session or just playing in front of your mom, whatever the case may be. Let's talk about how you can instantaneously upgrade that performance. And the most important thing is to stop trying to impress your audience. Because when you try to impress, you're going to be inclined to play stuff that is harder and stuff that you're not as comfortable playing. For instance, would you be nervous if I asked you to go up on stage and play Mary Had a Little Lamb or Twinkle Twinkle Star? Probably not, because it's so easy for you. Or if we take it out of music for a second, if I told you to go up on stage and you had to give a speech, and I said, all you have to do is say, my name is so-and-so. You would not be nervous about that because of how easy it is. You have to remember that you have this reaction to playing in front of other people where you want to impress. You want to sound good, so you feel like you need to play stuff that is hard. But the paradox is that the stuff that feels hard to you, which you think is better sounding, you're actually going to end up sounding like you're holding on for dear life. It's going to sound uncomfortable. But the stuff that feels easy to you, which unfortunately you probably think is lame and not worth playing because if it's easy, then anybody can do it. No, if it feels easy to you, then you're going to sound better. It's so simple. Play stuff that feels easy to you and you will sound good and you will not be nervous. So then you have to get to the point where you can make more stuff feel easy. How do you do that? That's where the practicing comes in. So much of the time we are practicing a lick or a phrase or a pattern and we play it wrong and then we maybe refine it in some way. And then on the 5th or the 6th time, we get it right and we're like, yes, got it. And we go on to the next thing. But what just happened? You played it wrong 5 times and you played it right 1 time. And if you imagine like a scale, like a balance, well, the wrong time end of that scale is going to go whoop, and the right side is up here. And you need to reverse that. You need to play it right more times than you play it wrong. One of the best strategies in the practice room that you can apply is playing something 5 times in a row without making any mistakes. This practice strategy will give you so much confidence, and you actually won't even need the confidence because you'll feel assured that you can play it right when the pressure is on. Speaking of pressure, another way you can mimic the pressure that comes from playing in front of other people is to, I like to call it swinging with 2 bats, or I'm talking about baseball. Like if you have 2 bats when you go to warm up for your swing, or you put one of those weighted donuts on top of your baseball bat, it's making it heavier so that when you actually go up for your, whatever it's called, I haven't played baseball in a long time, but when you're up at bat You take the donut off your bat and suddenly everything feels lighter. And it's easy. It feels easy. That's what we're going for, remember. So how do you swing with 2 bats within the practice room setting, in music that is? You have to do stuff like play it faster than you're going to need to play it in the performance. Don't play it so fast that you're making mistakes. Again, the same technique is going to hold true from before. You need to play it 5 times in a row without making any mistakes. But if you're working on a tune that's going to be 150 beats per minute in the performance, well, if you practice that at 200 beats per minute and you do it well and it feels comfortable, when the pressure is on in the performance, 150 beats per minute will feel like nothing. But I also want to get into something else. When it comes to playing in front of other people and the pressure is on, one of the most common problems is rushing, playing too fast. We do it with our speech. If you go to speak in front of other people, maybe you talk faster, maybe you don't take a breath. Your adrenaline is pumping. It's a natural effect of that excitement, of those nerves. We go too fast. You have to counteract it by consciously slowing down and laying back. Now let's go back to the practice room. We talked about playing it 5 times in a row without making a mistake, but let's also talk about how you can record yourself to mimic some more of that pressure that you're going to feel when it comes time to perform in front of other people. I was practicing yesterday, playing some guitar, and I was working on this little riff that I came up with, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to record this. This sounds pretty good. And as soon as I started recording, I started making mistakes. Or did I? I thought to myself, am I suddenly making all of these mistakes? Or was I making them the whole time? I just wasn't aware of them because I didn't have the red light on. I wasn't recording. There's something about recording yourself that not only puts pressure on you, that is actually good because you want to get comfortable with that pressure, but it also is going to alert you to mistakes you didn't know you were making because you're hyper aware of the perfection that you want to achieve. I should also say that you don't have to be perfect when it comes to performing. That's not what it's about. But when you're in the practice room, you want to strive for perfection because that's what practicing is all about. It's about ironing out those wrinkles and targeting those problem spots so that when it comes time to perform, you don't have to be held back by little snafus in your technique or, playing out of tune or something like that. Get it as perfect as you can in the practice room, and recording yourself is a great way to do that. You can also listen back to those recordings. It's amazing how much we miss when we're in the moment playing our instruments. And then when we listen back, we're like, oh, I didn't realize I was out of tune there, or I rushed a little bit there. And you can continue to iron out those wrinkles in the practice room. All right, so the last strategy for overcoming performance anxiety that I want to talk about is probably the deepest subject in this video. And it has to do with what I was talking about before with trying not to impress your audience. But really, what are you doing when you're trying to impress others? You're focusing on yourself. You're making the concert all about you. Really what it's about is the music. And I think what happens when we get up on stage or when we play in front of other people, we want them to know that we are good at music. So we try to be good at music. But that mentality is one of the things that screws everything up because when you have so much ego involved, you're trying to impress more, you're going to play stuff that's harder than you can execute accurately. So what you can do instead is instead of focusing on being good at music, focus on just making good music. Make it about the music itself, not about you playing the music. Nervousness happens when we feel that spotlight on us. And there might be a literal spotlight on you during a performance, but you can take the spotlight off you in your head by putting it on the music itself, not on how good or bad you sound. It's not about you, it's about the music. I'll leave you with one more piece of advice, really practical advice. And that is that to get over nervousness or performance anxiety, you have to just gain experience playing in front of other people. If you're always playing in a room by yourself, you're never going to have the opportunity to deal with those nerves. And the more you play in front of other people, whether you sound good or not, you'll at least have that experience and that practice dealing with seeing those faces in the audience, feeling those nerves, and getting through the show regardless. If the whole performance is kind of lousy and you're not feeling so good about it, at least you can know that that was a rep that you got in that's going to make you feel that much more comfortable at the next gig. I hope that if you're dealing with performance anxiety, that something I said in this video is going to help you reframe how you think about being nervous, or help you change how you practice so that when it comes to playing in front of other people next time, you'll feel more comfortable, more at ease, and ultimately play the way that you want to play. Until next time, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.